Basement View. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Here we go again. That's funny. This is incredible. How's it going, y'all? Well, moving right along. Looks like the beginning of November is upon us. And we know what that means. For those that are paying attention, we know what that means. That means that there are those out there who may be taken advantage of in a couple of days. And I am really concerned about how this is going to go. You know, I have to ask myself, if these people really let this happen to these people, if these people literally don't get snapped this weekend. And I think, let me look on here. Let me look on here and see if I can find this. I think I had a screenshot. Hey, what's up, Charles? How you doing? Let me see if I can find, I thought I had a screenshot of something. And I'm really curious about it. I thought I had a screenshot of what should have been. Nope, I guess I didn't get it. What should have been there is a rule. There is a rule that says that Congress has a contingency fund to pay the people. There's a rule that literally says Congress has a contingency fund to pay the people their SNAP benefits. Needing that money for that food. Yeah, absolutely. There's millions of people, that needs that money. And I thought I had, doggone it, I thought I had, I thought I took a screenshot of that. There was a page at the Department of Agriculture's website, and I thought I had it, I guess I don't, that literally spelled out the rule that Congress has right now that they can actually get the money to pay these benefits. And if they don't do it, this administration's law team, their legal team, and we know who their legal team is already. This administration's legal team has already deemed that provision doesn't count. Now, I don't know how a provision that's been counting at every other shutdown, the people got their SNAP benefits. But this particular shutdown, when the Republicans are in control, all of a sudden that provision does not count. Okay? So I guess it's the hell with the people. And Trump is out there saying we're not going to pay the benefits. I thought that was pretty interesting. We're not going to do it. Oh, okay. All right. That's very, very interesting. I feel like this is a perfect moment, just a perfect moment to highlight what goes on with the cups again. My brother with the cups, I can never remember his name. You know, I just lose track of names so much. But I love the way he illustrates the situation between the Democrats and the Republicans. Yeah, they do change the rules. They change the rules when they feel like changing the rules. You know what? They have changed the rules so many times to benefit them. And the Democrats, when they get in control, they won't do it. They constantly try and be this goody-goody gumdrop. And nobody, you know what? Nobody likes a cheat. Nobody likes a cheat. But if you got one side that's beating you to death, cheating, if they just cheating you just down to the bone, you know, you might want to start learning some tactics. What a joke. Anyway, I like the way this guy illustrates these things with these cups when he puts it so clear that you can understand what's going on. I'm going to play this video. Enjoy.
What's happening in America? Let's see what $4.3 trillion really looks like when each party gets their hands on it. This video will demonstrate the governing philosophies of each party. Behind me, I have two pyramids, each with 86 cups. Every cup represents $500 million, and together, that's $4.3 trillion. Let's start with this pyramid. The big, beautiful Bill Pyramid. It's $4.3 trillion tower of tax cuts overwhelmingly benefiting the wealthy. How do they sell it? The same old way always. Those white cups on the bottom, that's the lure. $200 billion on no tax on tips promise. Classic misdirection. They dangle something that sounds like it's helping working people, but you know, you never got your Doge dividend and you're still paying taxes on Social Security. The oligarchs are laughing all the way to the bank while America gets a $4.3 trillion deficit. Now let's look at the other pyramid. Same $4.3 trillion, but this time invested in stuff we need. The light blue cups on the bottom, Infrastructure Act, roads, bridges, creating 875,000 jobs this year alone. They voted no. The yellow cups, Inflation Reduction Act, lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, expanding clean energy. They voted no. The black cups, Chips and Science Act, keeping America competitive in semiconductors. Another no vote. And the green cups, unbelievably, the PACT Act, health care for veterans exposed to burn pits. 84% of them voted no before it went to the Senate. Always for the same reason. We can't afford it. How are we going to pay for it? When's it sunset? Yet somehow, they always manage to find room for a $4.3 trillion tax cut. And this is where the rubber meets the road. The shutdown is over the last two sets of cups. These gold cups right here represent $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts from this bill. The $1 trillion gold cups have been moved over here, given a $1 trillion tax break to corporations. The blue cups, the affordable health care tax credits, lifelines for millions and millions of Americans, especially in red states. And let's face it, the Democrats offered a resolution to keep the government open if the Republicans would lay off these two cups. They refused because they've already handed those cups to the corporations and the wealthiest Americans. They're simply lying to cover up the fact that they stole the cups and put them over here. Two pyramids, completely different philosophies, one that fights for working families and the other protecting the top 1%. It's not politics, it's math. And if you're so confident that I'm wrong because of your emails and comments, I can tell that I'm chasing you down with the truth. And you're running out of real estate. America, if you're with me, type in the comments, please. Enough is enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the way he illustrates that stuff with the cups. It is absolutely clear, you know, which one of these groups is actually in favor of all Americans. It's amazing. They dangled, you know what? This bastard came out with some no tax on tips and no tax on Social Security and a Doge dividend check. We gonna get a Doge check, y'all. Doge gonna send us a check. Doge ain't sent nobody shit. And Social Security, still taxed. And the tax on the tips, to a certain point. And there was one more. What was the other one? Oh, the overtime. Oh, that was the biggest cheat right there. Yeah. Up to this amount of money. Now your check still taxed. It's all taxed. I mean, yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing. And you know, when you look at it that way, it is so clear. It is so clear that, you know, who gives a damn about who. It's clear who gives a damn about who. And they don't care. They don't care because it is set up already for them to pay out the SNAP money. And the fact that they don't intend to do it, the fact that they don't intend to do it is the telltale. The fact that they don't do it is the telltale. And there's one other thing that leads you to understand why they won't pay this money out. See, there is a large, believe it or not, and I haven't went to this website. The website now, I saw what it read the other day. The website, if you go to the Department of Agriculture, if you go to any Fed website now, they got some garbage on there about due to the Democrats doing this, everything is messed up and all of that stuff. So they're not telling the truth about anything. They decided on all the websites. And by the way, this is against the law. On the government website, you cannot put any kind of campaign propaganda on the website. That is against what's called the Emoluments Clause, which this administration breaks all the time. So we know that. So this administration decided they're not going to pay this SNAP benefits out when they have the money to do it. See, I understand everybody else in the government that's not getting paid. You know, the government shut down, these people ain't getting paid. There's a contingency fund that's always been there to pay stuff like SNAP benefits. And this administration has decided, in order to try and make the Democrats look bad, they're trying to lump this in with the shutdown. This has nothing to do with the shutdown. They just decided not to pay them the SNAP benefits. Okay? This don't have anything to do with the shutdown. So when you hear we ain't getting SNAP benefits because of the shutdown, that's a lie. They could pay the benefits. They just chose not to pay them and try and make it look like this is associated with the shutdown. But listen to Tommy Tuberville. Anybody that knows Tommy Tuberville, you know, A, he's a jackass. You know, he's a racist. You know, he's so jacked up. This guy held up all the promotions for months. He held up in the Senate all of the people that was going to be promoted that had to have Senate approval for promotions in the military. Y'all remember that? I know some of y'all heard about it. In the military, he held them promotions up because, you know why? He wanted the military to drop all of their policies towards gay people and everything else. And he wanted the military to stop allowing abortions on military bases, which was legal by law. He wanted all of this list of stuff that he wanted. If he didn't get it, he wasn't going to allow anybody in the military to be promoted. Now, he's from Alabama. If I was from Alabama, and here's another, before I get to that point, here's another situation where Joe Biden was in office, right? Joe Biden is in office, and Joe Biden, guess what? One thing the commander-in-chief can do is direct funds to certain military bases. He can order certain bases opened and closed. That is under the direction of the commander-in-chief. And guess where there is a lot of military bases? Alabama. There's a couple of them down there. Quite a few. And all he had to do was tell Tommy Tuberville, tell you what, you allow them promotions to go through, I'm going to hit the bases in your district. I'm going to choke off the bases in your district. How about that? That's all he had to do. And you know he wouldn't do it. He would not. Democrats do not know how to use power when they have it. When they have it, it's just a waste of time for them to have it. Let's hear Mr. Tommy Tuberville. Y'all probably remember him. He used to be a college football coach, and he got fired because he was a racist. Okay, he was saying racist shit to the team and all sorts of stuff. And after that, they turned around and elected him as a senator after all of that. Check it out.
Democrats are getting a little bit tight right now. It's their constituents, a lot of them that in some of these inner cities that's going to need SNAP to survive, and they're getting a lot of calls, and the pressure is going to be put on them. A lot of people need to go back to work. A lot of young men that are on SNAP that should be working.
Wait. Anyhow.
Wait, no. Let's let that sink in. Mike, yeah.
Tommy Tuberville, a guy who held up the appointments in the Pentagon for several months out of Senate procedure.
Yep.
I don't know that he knew a lot about football, given his overall coaching record.
Wow.
But I do know that he knows very little about American culture, American employment, and how the Congress ought to operate.
And the SNAP program and who it helps.
You talking about the young men in his state?
Yeah, I mean,
for example,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
that's what we've been saying. Is
Talking
again,
about
is Tommy
families, children.
Tuberville thinking he's talking about people that live in Brooklyn, or is he talking about people that live in Demopolis, Alabama, that live in Bessemer, that live around Birmingham, Mobile? I mean, you're like, this is the ignorance of a lot of these Republican leaders, Willie. They think that they're owning the libs when in fact it's their constituents who disproportionately take from the government. It's their constituents who disproportionately, as far as tax money goes, who disproportionately are impacted by Medicaid cuts. It's his people that are going to be just completely hammered by SNAP benefits. I know Alabama. I love Alabama. You don't have to drive too far out of Mountain Brook to understand there are a lot of good people in Alabama that need Medicaid, that need SNAP benefits, and a lot of them are people that voted for Donald Trump. That's the ignorance of all this.
750,000 people in the state of Alabama are on food assistance.
Snap.
That's 15% of the population of the state. That's a lot of
Did he
people.
just lecture
and
them?
it's also, there was some code in there. It's not just the people who didn't vote for him, who he's suggesting to go out and work. It's people who support him, who support Donald Trump, who rely on the government for rural hospitals, for food assistance, all this. So this position of, like you say, kind of owning the libs.
Yeah.
These are your constituents, the people who rely on you to get them the benefits they need. It doesn't make sense.
Do you think Tommy Tuberville could tell you what the WIC program is?
No.
Women and
No,
Infants?
but
No.
Do you think he could tell you the impact that
No.
program disappearing November 1st would have on his constituents? No.
And he's
Clearly.
run for governor. He'll probably win.
So,
And he's running for governor of Alabama, and he will probably win. Hey, Ronnie, what's happening? How are you? He is running for governor of Alabama, and they're probably going to elect him. How about that? Doesn't that sound nice? He's probably going to get elected after saying stuff like he just said. That's just the way Republicans are. They will let you choke them and then steal. And then you can still get the vote. They'll still vote for you after you done choke them out. That's how they are. Ain't that crazy? I mean, you just can't make it up. You just can't make this up. These folks, there's a lot of them. You know what? I've spoken to a lot of folks when I was on the job that seems to think the only people getting SNAP is black people or Democrats. Believe it, in 2025, you need to be in the abuse business. Hey, you know what? I tell you what. You need to switch to Republican. If you switch to Republican, you can get in the abuse business and get well paid, okay? If you switch to Republican, you can get in the abuse business and you would be well paid. I tell you what, and you don't even have to put on the leather. You don't even need to put on the leather. You can put on the business suit and go out and abuse the shit out of them, and they will love you to death. Well, they would just, oh man, they would love that. And you can get paid. It's a lot of us getting paid. A lot of us getting paid. I tell you what, I've told this story before. I had a lawyer at one point, and we were talking before our hearing one day. And this particular lawyer, he blew my mind at how willing he was to would be to cut people off. You light skinned too. Oh yeah, especially if you close to passing. If you close to passing, welcome to the Twilight Zone. Yeah. Oh hell yeah. Yeah, hey, you ain't got to do very much to pass. You know, you can go down and just say it. You know, you walk in and say, yeah, get you a Southern drawl, and oh, they'll love you to death. But I had this lawyer I had was so willing. He said, all we need to do, if we cut the laziest 5% of people off the rolls, and he used 5% because I grabbed 5% out of the air. I said, assume 5% of the population are just lazy, because Republicans like to call so many people lazy that's getting assistance. I took an arbitrary number like 5%. I said, let's assume 5% of the population is just lazy. What would you do with them? He said, cut them off. I said, and what would happen to them once you cut them off? What if, you're just going to have them die in the street? And he looked at me and was like, I'm like, damn, if that ain't cruel. This guy, who was my attorney at the time, this guy was okay with the idea of people just dying in the streets. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. This attorney was happy, or let's not say happy. Let's say he was perfectly okay with 5% of our population dying in the street. Yeah, hey, it's only 5% to him. It's only 5, but that's 5% of 340 million. You know, that's 5% of 340 million. But he was perfectly okay with it. That's 5% that the rest of us don't have to pay for. I asked a guy one time, I asked him, hey, and this particular dude had some bad choppers in his mouth. And I said, hey, man, wouldn't you want to give a few more dollars out of your check if everybody could get dental insurance? Because you can get health insurance that does not include dental insurance. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you all a question. Why in the hell in this country can you have a policy or a plan that has health insurance and no dental insurance or eye insurance? Isn't your mouth and your eyes attached to the rest of your body? How can you have a health insurance plan or policy that does not include dental or eye exams? See, that's like the internet. Remember when you buy the internet, remember they used to charge you for each speed of the internet? Like in Europe, if you went to Europe and you bought internet, back when the internet first started coming out, when you went to internet in Europe, when you bought the internet in Europe, when they started forming the companies, they started investing into the most expensive networks you could get. And what they had was a network, and they had legislation over there that told the companies, you'll pay extra using medical insurance. Yeah, imagine that. But when the internet started coming out, in Europe, they made rules that said the companies could only charge you one fee. It had to be for the fastest internet you can get. Everybody in Europe had the same speed. There wasn't one guy with slow speed and another guy with fast speed. Only in places like America do they allow a company to give a guy some slow-ass internet that won't enable him to compete with the other people that's got faster internet. Only in America. Who chops up an insurance policy into bits and pieces and sells you bits and pieces of medical insurance? Only in America. So I asked this guy anyway, because I done got way off on a whole nother tangent. I asked this guy anyway. I says, hey, Wouldn't you want to spend a few extra bucks if everybody could get dental insurance? You know, that guy told me no. He said he wouldn't want to pay for lazy people getting dental insurance. He wouldn't want to have to pay a few extra bucks because some lazy people that he didn't want to get insurance could get it. Now, this guy walking around mouth jacked up. And I'm like, you look like a goddamn jack-o'-lantern, and you don't want to pay a few extra bucks so everybody could have dental insurance. That's the thinking. That's the mentality in America. That's the mentality. Okay? So that's how you have so many people who have so little knowledge, are so ignorant as to think there's only one group of people getting SNAP benefits or assistance. That's how you have people that ignorant. Now, Mr. Tuberville doesn't seem to think there's anybody in his district that needs SNAP. I tell you what, I've heard some weird stories over the last day or so about what the stores plan to do. Has anybody heard anything about what the stores plan to do? There's some interesting stories going on around out there about, if the people don't get the SNAP over the next week, some of the stuff's going to happen. Has anybody heard any interesting stories? If you have, chime in, They think like, I got mine, you get yours. Yeah. You know what? I remember I used to hear that from teachers in school. I got mine, you get yours. Yeah, that is the mentality that a lot of people got. That's absolutely true. Shame we got that mentality in 2025. Some ideas just don't die easy. I'm just curious though. I've heard some pretty funny stories about, what's going to happen if the SNAP benefits don't go out. And we only got what is this, the 29th, 30th, 31st? We only got 3 days, 2 days. Got supposed to be out Saturday. And if I'm not mistaken, you get them before the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'm almost sure that's how it goes. So it's supposed to be out Friday. And these people have decided they're just not going to pay them. They got contingency money to pay the benefits. They're just not going to do it. They want to make it look like they're not getting it because of the Democrats. If that ain't a sick joke to play on people, we're not going to play your benefits. Now, you can blame the Democrats. That's messed up. So, anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, those checks should be in the mail now. Yeah, I'm thinking, because everybody get their stuff on a card now, I think. And that should be on the card Friday, before the weekend. I think, government stuff happens before the weekends. So this is going to be interesting. And in the meantime, we got one person that's just having one heck of an impact on everything. This guy has just turned his back on everything. You know, Rachel Maddow had a thing on the other day. This was sent to me, and I thought it was interesting how much damage this guy's done at the White House, because I hadn't really thought about all of the stuff this guy's done at the White House. But this ballroom thing wasn't the first thing this guy targeted at the White House. So I'm gonna pivot right here, get off the snap thing, because it is really upsetting me at this point that they chose to punish people and try and make it look like it's somebody else's fault. So let's look at the impact this guy is having at the White House right now. The havoc this guy's wreaking at the White House, just to get a look at it. Check it out.
Before President Trump bulldozed a third of the White House last week, he had already paved over one of its most beautiful and iconic places, the White House Rose Garden. This summer, President Trump poured concrete over the Rose Garden at the White House in order to create this, what he calls the Rose Garden Club. It's basically a fast food restaurant patio with garish yellow umbrellas he had shipped up from his house in Florida to make it look like the assistant manager hasn't arrived yet to really set the place up. Look at that. That used to be the Rose Garden. Destroying the White House Rose Garden, literally paving it, cost nearly $2 million. And then the excavators showed up. Last week, in tearing down the historic East Wing of the White House, Trump destroyed not just the East Wing, but also a second historic garden, the Jacqueline Kennedy Garden, which, despite the name, was not designed by Jackie Kennedy. The garden was named in Mrs. Kennedy's honor, but it was designed by her friend, the legendary gardener, Bunny Mellon. B-U-N-N-Y, Bunny is her first name, Bunny Mellon. You can actually just make her out, barely make her out in the background of this photo from the time, Mrs. Mellon. Bunny had married into the Mellon family's industrial and banking fortune. Through her friendship with the Kennedys, she ended up designing both the White House Rose Garden, which Trump paved, and the absolutely lovely Jackie Kennedy Garden with its magnolias and its slow-growing, painstakingly cultivated hollies. But that garden is also now gone, bulldozed by Donald Trump, destroyed to make room for Trump's new Mar-a-Lago-style ballroom, which Trump says will cost somewhere between $200 and $350 million, money he has apparently raised from private donors. The current American president has decided to never mind Congress and the power of the purse that is laid out in the Constitution. When he wants money for something, he just finds another purse somewhere. For example, last week, Trump announced that a mystery donor had decided to write a check for $130 million to help pay the troops during the government shutdown. Now, according to the New York Times, that mystery donor is named Timothy Mellon. Wait, Mellon? Wait, does the Mellon name sound familiar? Yes, same Mellon, same family. His stepmom, Bunny, designed the two gardens that Trump just bulldozed and paved. You may remember Timothy Mellon as the single largest individual donor of the 2024 election cycle. First was Elon Musk. Second was Timothy Mellon. He poured millions of dollars, many millions of dollars, into helping candidate Trump. He spent another $25 million on trying to elect Robert F. Kennedy Jr., because why not? And now Timothy Mellon has written a check for $130 million to privately pay U.S. military members. And hey, the military doesn't work like that. And maybe that's illegal, but whether or not it's illegal, it's also definitely bizarre math. I mean, when you do the math, this $130 million purported donation would work out to just enough money to pay each member of the armed services $100 one time. It's nowhere near enough to keep military families paid or even out of food pantry lines during this shutdown. But sure, why not hand over $130 million to shove it down this hole. He's still giving it, maybe, I don't know. But meanwhile, Trump continues building his multi-hundred-million-dollar ballroom while the government is shut down and Americans line up at food banks in droves.
Isn't that special? Isn't that special? How about that? The impact that one guy can have is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. The impact that one guy can have. Wow. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. The dude's running rampant all over the place. He has our military out there executing people in boats, just killing people, committing murder on the high seas. Murder on the high seas. That's a movie, ain't it? Damn. That's what it is. Wow. Crazy. So people this weekend gonna be scratching their heads, wondering what they're gonna do. They be scratching their heads, wondering, what am I gonna do? Meanwhile, it's tons of money being tossed around at this dude in D.C. Just tons of money being tossed around. Like, foof, 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 foof. Just, here you go. Tons of money. Crazy. Crazy. Anyway. I think I'm going to make this episode short because I'm about to start preaching and shit. I'm about to start preaching like crazy. Kristi Noem and Ice are supposed to be in Gary this week. Oh, really? Well, you know what? That makes sense since she got new jets to fly in. We got, Gary got a nice long runway on the airport, and they got jets to fly in. Hey, do you have any more details about that? Do you know where they're planning on being? Have you heard anything else about that? Give me something that I can look up because, I might want to go out there and see if I can see that. That's crazy. That is crazy. Since the people that's not going to be able to eat this weekend can go out and look at $172 million worth of jets. They got 2 jets for $170 million for her to fly around in. So of course she needed new jets. Of course. To make her cosplay appearances. So, but if you do here, I'm gonna try and look that up later on when I'm getting drunk as hell. Cause I feel a drunk coming on tonight thinking about some of this stuff. I'm gonna look it up, see if I can find something, cause I'd like to see that. I've had just a whole bunch of stuff pop up on my plate here lately that's just got me racked out. I mean, it's just got me bogged down. Tomorrow, I got to spend half the day here at home while the utility company comes out and changes the gas meter out. Now, they couldn't give me a time that they was coming, of course. They got to give you a window. So I've got this window. I got to be here so they can come out and change my gas meter. But I would really like to be where they are to see what they're doing. I'd like to see that because the last I heard, there's not a whole lot. I mean, again, I don't know, but there's not a whole lot of illegal immigrants running around Gary. We have immigrants here, but I don't think, or in Gary, there's immigrants there. I don't think there's a lot of illegals. Of course, I could be wrong about that. Absolutely. Oh, by the way, before I get out of here, yeah, I'm being held hostage. I tell you what, hey, it was a heck of a weekend. Last week and this week. So, yeah, I'm being held hostage tomorrow. Yeah, I got to stay here and wait for them to change this meter out. But before I get out of here right now, I had been telling y'all about this guy and his sister. They got a podcast. This podcast is called The Necessary Conversation. The Necessary Conversation. I don't know his name or his sister's name. I can't remember. I hear it all the time, but so many names. You know, I deal with so many names, I can't put them on all the right people all the time. But I promised y'all I was going to play some of these clips. Now, I hung a bunch of clips together. You saw that tonight on the weekend, on weeknight. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll see what I can look up. But I'm going to play a few clips right quick. And this guy and his sister has this podcast, and they ask his parents, their parents, questions about why their parents are MAGA. Their parents are MAGA, and their parents are so, and I don't want to be disrespectful to his parents. I don't want to say nothing bad about his parents. I will let you all make that judgment. But listening to his parents, you think, oh my goodness. So what I did was I put a few clips together just in no special order. I just stuck them together so you all could get an idea of the way some of these people think when they're being asked a simple question that should be a simple answer to. You know, but listen to some of the responses that his parents give him and his sister. And like I said, these clips are in no special order. I just stuck some together that they just blow me away. So before I get out of here, I'm going to play this right quick. Check it out.
Y'all got it ass backwards. Democracy has to go.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what?
It means we need to kill democracy.
Why?
Because we are a republic. And the republic is what made America great, not the democracy.
I don't understand even what you're saying. Do you think that...
I know you don't understand it because you don't understand the difference between democracy and the republic.
What's the difference in your mind?
Democracy is all funded by multi-billionaires who want to control the country, which is what you think we're doing. And then what ends up happening is democracy is turned into socialism and communism. And we're about halfway there now.
Okay.
That's why we have to kill democracy and bring back the republic.
Are you going to vote in the next election?
Sure I am.
It's terrifying.
The protesters that were out there protesting, so you say it was against Trump, I say it was against America in general.
They literally had giant signs and inflatable balloons of Trump and shit.
These are the same people that followed their dictator, Fauci. These are the same people that wore masks. These are the same people that took the jab, that lost lives over taking the jab, had to do it or not have their jobs. Those are the protesters that were in the street. Those are the same people that followed that God. So that's where I think their brains are a little bit off.
Do you believe RFK over the CDC?
Yes.
I am not talking about that. I'm talking about
My
the
answer to that
protesters
question is
now.
yes.
They are the same people that celebrate over assassinations. They are the same people that want to take our guns away. They are the same people that they've been whining since Trump was elected. And guess what? He was duly elected, and you have 3 more years of him. So go ahead and start planning your next No Kings parade or protest, whatever you call it, because it didn't know any good. We're here on Sunday. What good has it done?
Dad, which of these intelligence reports are we supposed to believe?
I believe Trump. I don't give a shit about the rest of it.
So even if every other intelligence report said no damage really happened, but Trump says total obliteration, you believe total obliteration, no matter what?
Correct.
I believe it too. I believe our president. Why would you know?
He's a pathological liar, yeah.
Lied since day one.
It doesn't matter what he says. He's correct.
In all cases?
Yes, they were totally obliterated. They won't have any weapons anymore. And if they start that damn war back up, you can kiss Iran goodbye.
All right.
And
Mom,
I'm 100% for that.
Mom, is it truly a ceasefire if both sides break it immediately?
And you're pointing at the wrong people. Our biggest enemy is not Iran, it's China.
Do you think, Mom, that Maxwell deserves to be serving her sentence in a minimum security prison?
No.
Okay, so you disagree with what Trump is doing here.
Yes, I don't know why she was moved. Why did they move her? Other than,
They're getting ready to partner.
well, that is not right. They should not do that. But, like I've said before, I truly think all this Epstein stuff was within our government, and it was a way to catch other people, put pressure on them, and say, look what we have on you. Now you better sing, or we're going to show people what we have on you. And I think our government was involved in this. I truly do.
You don't think Trump was?
Well, you're saying his name was in there. Everybody's saying it was in there.
It's being reported. That's one of our topics. We're going to get to that. I want to play you a clip. I felt like that was kind of effective last week. So I want to play you a clip right now. This is Virginia Giuffre and her family. She is, as you may know, no longer with us.
I know who that is, but okay, go ahead and play it, and then I have some things to say. You guys didn't say a word when they were tearing down like Christopher Columbus statues, Jefferson Davis, Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee.
Those aren't the White House.
All of those that the Democrats tore down in different places.
The image of it, the symbolic image of it, is that Donald Trump is destroying the most iconic piece of American architecture that exists.
I wished I had the picture that shows Barack Obama in 2009, his extravaganza thing during the depths of our recession then, a $376 million taxpayer-funded overhaul that included ripping down the White House grounds to install a lavish basketball court so that he would be self-serving, be able to play on that. $376 million that the taxpayers paid for.
And he had a compartment underneath there.
And at that time, he did not. And at that time, it was funny how CNN would get on there and say, oh, this is so wonderful. Oh, this makes the White House look so much better. Oh, and now Trump is trying to make improvements, and they're blasting him for a ballroom.
He did.
Okay. The answer to your question, Charles, is yes. Yes, that is what she said. She said that it does not matter if the man is lying. It does not matter if he's wrong about nothing. It does not matter. He's right. You see the point I'm trying to make? That's how far gone some of these people are. Yes, when he's lying, he's right. Now you tell me. You tell me what that's all about. Imagine imagine that being your parents. Okay? Imagine that being your parents. And you're trying to talk to them. That's what we got all over the country. That's what we have all over this country. People have just dedicated themselves to a charlatan, a flim-flam man. A flim-flam just gave a narcissistic flim-flam man complete control of everything. And do not care. Do not care if he's lying or not. I don't care if he's lying. He's right. I don't care if what he does takes my job away. He's right. I don't care if I lose my farm like my fellow farmers did the first time. I trust him. He's right. Yeah. So, anyway. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. Tell you what. This is going to be an interesting week ahead. Everybody, I want y'all to stay tuned. I want y'all to excuse me. I want y'all to pay attention to everything you can pay attention to. Pay attention to everything you can pay attention to. Get all the information you can. I don't know what's going to be happening with the stores in the week coming up. Because the stores are about to catch hell. The stores will never understand how they think, what they think. Yeah, you're right about that. And yes, it is mind-boggling, James. But Charles, yes, you're right about that. We'll never understand that. We will of course you can't understand the mind of madness. You'd have to be insane to understand somebody that's insane, This big-ass experiment, this is a crazy experiment. And it is wild because it's a big roll of the dice how this ends up. It's just a big roll of the dice how this ends. Know what I mean? Tomorrow, just so some of you know, I'm going out and get me a few more supplies tomorrow. I'm going to go out and get me some more supplies tomorrow. I think that would be in order. Tomorrow's the 30th. As soon as I am freed from my bondage tomorrow, I'm going to run out and get me some more supplies. So, just a bit more than what I have. Just to be on the safe side, because this could be awful. This could be awful. This could be awful. there's going to be a lot of people. And when I say a lot of people, I mean the stores, not the crowds. I'm talking about what are the store owners going to do, because they are used to this influx of income, this capital at the beginning of each month. There's going to be store closures. And guess where those closures are going to be? All over the place. So, we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. And go have me a shot. Yeah, hey James, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good because, you know, like I was saying the other day, once a program has been stopped, it doesn't get started right back up. If the stuff don't go out this week, it's going to be hell to get it going again. And once the wheels come off the bus, and this might be that thing that kicks off the aggression. You know, this could be that catalyst that kicks off the aggression that gets people out there doing stuff that you may need the National Guard for. Now, I've been trying not to say this, but this might be that thing. They have been looking for something that they can do that will kick off the aggression in Joe Q. Public or John Q. Public to get them upset to go out in the street and start aggressively doing stuff. So I hope I'm wrong. Anyway, I'll see y'all Monday. Pay attention. I'm going to go and see if I can look up this Kristi Noem thing and ICE. I'd love to be there and maybe get a little video of that. I'd like to be around, see what I can see. So anyway, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all Monday. Monday, it will be a new month. It will be a new month. And it does look like it's working in their favor. It looks like it's, and they're trying really hard to get the American people to explode. They are doing everything in their power to push the American people to violence. That's what they're trying to do. This might be it. So, let's hope not. Monday will be a new month, and we will see what has happened. I tell you one thing. Democrats, do not buckle. Do not cave in. Democrats, stay y'all asses out. That's it. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all Monday. Take it easy.